Hey everybody, it's Richard here, and today I'd like to share a project I've been working with involving Google Calendar, Google Sheets, Google Forms, and Looker Studio. Now the idea is that many schools these days now make it easier for teachers to get their schedules onto Google Calendar. And what I'd like to demonstrate is leveraging this data to make it easier for teachers to request coverage for any given period during the school day. So here's how it works. Obviously, the teacher's calendar is already loaded onto Google Calendar, and there would be an internal add-on that is installed in your domain, and it simply works like this. You select a teaching period on your calendar to request a sub. So for example, if this were my schedule for this week, I'm thinking I have maybe a dental appointment and I'm going to be here the rest of the day, but I've got a little gap here this part of the day. If I could just get someone in school to cover me here, this would be really helpful. So if I click that event, the sidebar changes to where I can request a sub for that specific event. So the reason we're filling out this information is because we need to get the event into a Google Form friendly version, right? To make it easy to understand when and where and who this event is for. So if this is my 8th grade Spanish class, I could type in here 8 Spanish. This is a period 1 class. I could leave any plans, so maybe continue reading the textbook. And let's say we're in room 101. The reason, now this reason field in the cell phone field would not go uh, to the substitute, but rather to the person who's managing this whole system, just to have a sense of why they're out and how to contact them if they need to reach them in an emergency. So, as I said, maybe there was a out to the dentist, and I plug in my cell phone number, and I hit request sub. Now, what this does, it gives me confirmation that my request has been successfully submitted, but what does that mean? So that means that the request has been put on a collaborative calendar called the sub manager. Now, all teachers in the school would need to have edit access to this calendar, and which would allow them to create an event based on that submission. So notice here, this is the event that I had just created. Again, it's happening March 9th, period 1. I'm the teacher. It's room 101 and it's 8th grade Spanish. So a lot of information is here. I even got the subplans already built in. So now it's just awaiting somebody to take that job. So as the sub manager, I would have received an email saying, hey, look, a teacher in your school has submitted a request for a sub. Please update the form. The form will update itself every 30 minutes, but if you want to do it manually even faster, the sub manager could open up the add-on and click update form. And what that does is it's going to put the request on what I like to call is the job board. So these are all open positions that are looking for coverage. And so it's very easy for someone in the school to just quickly sign up for one or more open positions. So I'm just going to copy this form and I'm going to go into a teacher account. And if I'm a teacher and I'm saying, you know what, I can jump in, I can cover that Spanish class period 1 on March 9th. I have all the details I need to know. I hit this, I put in my name, and that's it. So this part's important. it says you're only considered confirmed once you've accepted the invite. So I've just hit submit. Now I'm waiting on a calendar invite. So if I go check my email, I notice, oh look, I've been invited to this event. So in other words, I can now claim this event. So if I hit yes, that officially makes me a owner, and I'm going to be the sub of that event. So just to show you what happens when that event is claimed, I'm going to go back and just manually refresh this form one more time. And you'll notice now that that class is no longer on the job board, so someone has claimed it. If I hadn't claimed it and just kind of left the invite pending, overnight it would clear it. So because there's a script that will run overnight to clear any pending or declined guests. So now if I'm teacher one, the advantage is I now have my sub job on my own calendar. So if I go to Google Calendar, I can see that on March 9th at 8:15, I'm going to be covering this period 1 class, and I know to tell the students just to continue to read their textbook. So it streamlines a lot of the communication and making sure there's coverage in the right places, with requiring very little effort on the parts of teachers to make this happen both ways. Now as the admin, the really nice benefit of this is because there is a form submission, that means we have a Google Sheet. So we can keep track of all of the substitute requests of people taking jobs. And on top of that, we can also get an updated view of people who have taken a job. So if there's compensation involved, we can get that to them. So if I just refresh now, this function pulls all of the events from that sub calendar, and we'll list them in this Google Sheet. So we notice here, this was the most recent one that I just did. And what I can do with this page is link that to a Looker Studio dashboard. So Looker Studio is a tool you can use to connect to a Google Sheet to pull data and to create reports. So I'm going to adjust the date range. You can have this be a moving date range to make it easy for your pay periods. But what I'd like to do is just pull this back a little bit, apply this, and I'm going to refresh the data so I can see. Actually, I got to go into the future because that one was March 9th. So let me go up here to March 11th. Now I can see that this was my event, and I can see that it was recorded in here. So if there's any sort of compensation, I could further develop this report to include how much pay is due to an individual teacher who has subbed. So in essence, that is the idea behind the Sub Manager, and to leverage everything you currently do with Google Calendar and just get a little bit more out of it in terms of solving a teacher coverage issue during the day. So I hope you've enjoyed this brief demo, and thanks for watching. Bye.